Welcome to this video in which we will discuss the screw compressor, which is a type of rotary air compressor. What is a screw compressor? A screw compressor is a type of air compressor that uses a rotary type positive displacement mechanism. Now, what is this positive displacement? Well, it means the displacement of a mechanical linkage. Since we are talking about screw compressor, then a positive displacement compressor is the system which compresses the air by the displacement of a mechanical linkage, reducing the volume of air. Now let's discuss the parts of compressed air system. Compressed air systems usually consist of the following components. Air filter, which filters the dirt from air entering the compressor. Compressor, it produces compressed air at the required pressure. Air cooler, it cools the air discharged from the air compressor and reduces the moisture in the compressed air. The air receiver tank acts as a reservoir to store and cool the compressed air. Dryer dries the compressed air as well as remove the moisture from the compressed air. Condensate trap, well, it removes moisture from the compressed air. Now moving on to the working of screw compressor. Rotary screw compressor uses two meshing helical screws known as rotors to compress the air. Since our discussion is about oil lubricated screw compressors, which has low quality of air because oil is mixed with the compressed air and cannot be fully removed. That's why the quality of air is compensated. Don't worry about the parts of compressed air system as we will discuss them again in a bit detail. Let's discuss the screw compressor first. There are two rotors in a screw compressor. One rotor is called the male rotor and the other rotor is called as the female rotor. Before compression, the air should be clean, so we mount an air filter before the compressor. The clean air through the air filters comes at the inlet of the male and female rotors. As the male and female rotors are rotating in opposite direction, they draw air in between them. As air progresses along the rotors, the air is compressed. As the volume space between the rotors decreases, hence creating compressed air that is displaced to the outlet. Remember that oil is mixed here with the compressed air when the compression of air takes place in the rotors. Now, what is the function of the oil here in the screw compressor? Well, the oil performs following crucial functions: cooling of parts, lubrication of the rotors and the other components as well, and sealings. There is a thermostatic valve which controls the quantity of oil being circulated in the compressor. As the name indicates, this valve controls the quantity of oil by sensing the temperature of the oil. Now we have the mixture of oil and compressed air. How oil is removed from the compressed air? Because we don't need the mixture of oil and compressed air. Instead, we need the compressed air only. Here comes another part of the compressed air system, the separator that separates the oil from the compressed air. The mixture of oil and compressed air leaves the compressor and is passed through a separator where most of the oil is removed from the compressed air. So the separator does the magic of separating the air from the oil, and this separator is called as an air and oil separator. Since compressed air and the oil gains high temperature because of the compression of the air, the oil needs to be cooled down for further operation of the compressor, as one of its function is to cool down the system. For this purpose, we use an oil cooler, which cools the oil to a lesser temperature. The shafts of the compressor are supported by bearings. I have already made a video on bearings. You can get the link of that video on bearings in the description below. The motor and the compressor are connected by gears. I also made a video on gears. You can get the link of that video on gears in the description as well. Whenever the compression of air takes place, the temperature of compressed air will increase. But we do not need hot air because it will cause many problems. So here we have to reduce the temperature of compressed air. For this purpose, we use air cooler. An air cooler is used to cool the compressed air. We call the air cooler as heat exchangers. Water-cooled heat exchangers are available on most rotary screw compressors. After coolers, the air is stored in a reservoir which is also called as pressure vessel or a storage tank. After this whole process, air needs to be more dry and clean. For that purpose, we use an air dryer, which dries as well as cools the air. After the air is dried and cooled by the air dryer, the cool and dry compressed air is stored in a storage tank or reservoir again. Now the air is ready for use. We place pressure gauges at various points of the compressed air system and at the distributing lines as well. Normally, screw compressors are used for moderate air pressure from 6 to 10 bar. The maximum air discharge is about 12,000 to 3,000 cubic meter per minute, which is quite large as compared with the reciprocating air compressors. Since industries mostly use 6 bar air pressure for their applications, so these compressors are widely used in the industries. Also, these compressors are less noisy, most energy efficient, and it operates at relatively lower temperature of the compressor as compared with the reciprocating air compressors. That's why screw compressors are widely used in most of the industries. So here I would like to discuss the sequence of air through the series of components. First, the air passes through the air filters where the dirt particles are filtered and only clean air gets entered into the air compressor. Then air enters into the compressor, gets compressed. The lubricating oil is also mixed with the compressed air. The mixture of compressed air and lubricating oil exits the compressor. Then that mixture of hot compressed air and oil enters in the separator where the lubricating oil is separated from the compressed air. Then the hot compressed air enters in the air cooler where the hot compressed air gets cooled down. After coolers, the air is sent to the storage tank. Then for further cooling and drying purpose, the air is passed through an air dryer. After a dryer, the cool and dry air is sent to another storage tank where it can be used. Well, that's all for today's discussion of rotary screw compressor and some other components of compressor system. If you find this video helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you have something to say, then leave a comment. Thank you very much.